Christianity, we'd have an epistle of Paul to the Ethiopians, an epistle of Paul to the Egyptians, an epistle of Paul to the Hutus and the Tutsis. We don't have that. There's no epistle of Paul to the Arabs. There's no epistle of Paul to the Babylonians.
Exactly.
There's no epistle of Paul to the Edomites.
You're right.
Paul could have very easily perverted Christianity.
Right.
The Paul bashers are just idiots for not seeing that.
And of course, in other books, Paul definitely says that the Edomites are vessels fit for destruction.
Of destruction, right.
He does not include them among the Israelites.
And he doesn't include any nation that's non-Israelite.
Right.
Every one of those people Paul wrote an epistle to were dispersed Israelites.
Right. He excludes the descendants of Ishmael, which is your today's Arabs, right?
Absolutely. He excludes them explicitly.
In the New Testament, Paul says in Romans 11, all Israel will be saved. That is the purpose and plan of God. There is a Christian kind of popular doctrine that I reject with all my heart, and that is that the church has replaced Israel in the promises of God. It's called supersessionism. I don't believe in that. I think that, honestly, hate to say this, but I honestly think it is a latent form of anti-Semitism to say that. You can't tell me that God made promises in the Old Testament to his people Israel concerning his future kingdom and salvation, and that he would give them a new heart and a new spirit, and he would write his laws in their heart, and they would be saved, and he would be their king, and they would be his people, and all those kingdom prophecies. You can't possibly tell me that God didn't mean what he said.
Christianity, we'd have an epistle of Paul to the Ethiopians, an epistle of Paul to the Egyptians, an epistle of Paul to the Hutus and the Tutsis. We don't have that. There's no epistle of Paul to the Arabs. There's no epistle of Paul to the Babylonians.
Exactly.
There's no epistle of Paul to the Edomites.
You're right.
Paul could have very easily perverted Christianity.
Right. And
the Paul bashers are just idiots for not seeing that.
And of course, in other books, Paul definitely says that the Edomites are vessels fit for destruction.
Of destruction, right.
He does not include them among the Israelites.
And he doesn't include any nation that's non-Israelite.
Right.
Every one of those people Paul wrote an epistle to were dispersed Israelites.
Right. And he excludes the descendants of Ishmael, which is your today's Arabs, right?
Absolutely. He excludes them explicitly.
In the New Testament, Paul says in Romans 11, all Israel will be saved. That is the purpose and plan of God. There is a Christian kind of popular doctrine that I reject with all my heart, and that is that the church has replaced Israel in the promises of God. It's called supersessionism. I don't believe in that. I think that, honestly, hate to say this, but I honestly think it is a latent form of anti-Semitism to say that. You can't tell me that God made promises in the Old Testament to his people Israel concerning his future kingdom and salvation, and that he would give them a new heart and a new spirit, and he would write his laws in their heart, and they would be saved, that he would be their king, and they would be his people, and all those kingdom prophecies. You can't possibly tell me that God didn't mean what he said.
Let's go, champ. All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory and honor and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachah, Kodash, Barakathum. Double honor to my apostles, a great millstone. All right, and salutations to the Akim on the four corners who's pushing this truth. All right, and sincerity, love, diligence, respect, fear, and trembling. All right, it's like Tazan over the Jim Spirit of knowledge coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. I pray and hope this is edifying to the hopeful elect. And we're going to get right into it, man. You know, I played it twice so you brothers could hear it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we're going to go right into that, man, because, see, this is what we be speaking about when you actually do the research and dig in the scriptures through the spirit. All right, you're going to find out that this book is only written to the Israelites. Okay? Now, we found out who are the Israelites through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai according to prophecy. All right, Revelation 11:11. Okay, and those prophecies of Deuteronomy 28 only fits the blacks, Latins, and Native Americans. When you go into Genesis 49, all right, when Jacob spoke to his sons what will befall you, it gave a list of characteristics and lands, okay, spirits on the Israelites, man, and they only fit us. Okay. In fact, real quick, let me do this because these are the people for salvation. All right, no other people, man. All right, he brought up supersessionism. I hope vocab no class Malone is paying attention that supersessionism, which is a replacement theology, okay, that's of Satan, man. That was added, you see. And this is how the Christian church tries to play these games when it comes to when you see Gentile in the New Testament. You know, you're trying to say that it's for the other nations, man. All right, and it's not. See, because the scripture tells you. Let me get that real quick. That the Lord only deals with the nation of Israel. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 7. It says, "Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will shew thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee." Okay, which is what? Giving us the information, the records of our forefathers, the law, statutes, commandments. Okay, and we don't have any, well, now we wasn't born knowing that we was Israelites, but our fathers now today through the Spirit would be our apostles, a great millstone, and the men that came with them and under them and before them, like High Priest Ariah, King Mashah, Yaiquab, okay, Elder Abba Bivens, okay, and then you have the apostles. So those would be the fathers. Okay, verse 8, it says, "When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bonds or the bounds, the boundaries, the lands, okay, of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord Yahweh's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance," man. And just like the Edomite said, he said there's no way that the Lord is just gonna do away with all the promises and the kingdom scriptures and the salvation scriptures, man. You see, it says that what is that? He said that his word won't go back void, okay, and as well as the things that he said is gonna stand. Isaiah 40:8. It says, "The grass withers, the flower fadeth, but the word of our power shall stand forever." Okay, so the things that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has said, or the through the Spirit that the prophets have, the things that they wrote down pertaining to salvation was only for the Israelites. Okay, in fact, Jeremiah 3:23 tells you that the other nations won't seek salvation. This is Jeremiah 3:23. Truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills. What's the hills? It's talking about governments, okay, which is the other nations, and from the multitude of mountains. Okay, so how could a multitude of mountains and hills get salvation, man? It's talking about people. Okay, truly in vain is salvation hoped for from the hills and from the multitude of mountains. Truly in the Lord Yahweh, okay, when it's in all caps, it's Yahweh, our power is the salvation of Israel. You see that? It's not going to change. Let's get another one. 54. I believe it's 54:17. Nope. 45:17. And this is a good one. Hey, I'm gonna read that through the Spirit. Isaiah 54:17. "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper." You see? And what weapon is that? The Esau has these 501c3 charters, the fucking supersessionism, the replacement theology, these different systems set up against the nation of Israel, man. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Nothing that this devil has done would ever take away the true essence and the true understanding from the scriptures, man. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Nothing is going to prosper, man. Nothing that this devil has done. The slave Bible, that didn't work. We figured it out through the Spirit. We didn't figure nothing out through the Spirit. The spirit of prophecy rested upon the men, okay, in this day and age to receive the truth. So it wasn't the slave Bible that worked, okay. It wasn't these set up pastors and preachers and these temples, these churches. That didn't work. Okay, vocab Malone isn't working. James White, the Edomite, G-Man, all these different avenues to try to come up against the truth or in allowing the true people to understand who they are, it didn't work. Okay? No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. See? And this is why we, through the Spirit, beginning with great millstone. All right. Now the scripture tells us in what is that? The gates of hell shall not prevail against thee. Okay. So every beginning with the elites, and then you have these different lower Luciferian sects and groups and things like that. Nothing is going to work against us, against the truth. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord Yahweh. Okay, so no matter what you devils try to bring in there, whatever philosophy you try to bring in, through the Spirit, the Lord is going to use his men to destroy all that shit. And that's what's been happening, beginning with the Apostle Great Millstone. Okay, so that was a good precept. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Yeah, and see the lie that John 3:16. Okay, we have an understanding of that now. You see, Esau tried to see it was certain scriptures that this devil tried to use. It said world, it said Gentile. You know, he tried to use these words and put a doctrine to it. Yeah, that world right there, that world was talking about the whole world, you know. But we have the understanding through the Spirit. No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. This is Isaiah 45:17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord Yahweh with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end. That's the world. Okay? That's the world it's talking about. That's why when you go to John 3:16, you have that complete understanding, because the Lord's words have never changed. For the Most High, this is John 3:16, right? This is for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Now, what world? Is talking about the Israelite world. We just proved that. World without end. See? For God so loved the world, the Israelite world, beginning with the elect, that he gave his only begotten son. Now let's see here. Let's dig into that. Let's see. Let's go. Let's get Acts real quick. He loved the Israelite world, so he sent his son to do what? This is Acts 5. Acts 5 and here we go. Acts 5:29. It says, then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than men. The power of our fathers raised up Yahushua, okay, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him that the Most High exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. This is what this is all about, right? Is that not what the churches speak about? How, you know, who they call Jesus, we say Yahushua. He came to forgive the sins of the world. Okay, he died on the cross for the sins of the people. What people? The Israelites. That's why this says this. For the Most High so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, Yahushua, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. It's only speaking about the Israelites. For God sent not his son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. And what is that speaking about? It's talking about the Israelites. That's it. That's all. Okay. In fact, let's get this. See, you churches, You know, especially vocab alone, man. See, the Christian church, they're trying to make a comeback. You know, they're trying to, you know, but that shit ain't working, man. Vocab, you're failing miserable. You know, your them Lord Luciferians who pays you, I know they pissed off at you. But this is Acts 1:6. It says, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? See, it was known back in the ancient world. See, these things was known that the Israelites only had salvation. Okay, that's what Yahweh told the Samaritan woman. You know not what you worship, for salvation is for the Jews, man. You see, salvation is for the Israelites. Okay, so what was to happen was when the begotten Son came on a scene to be sacrificed through prophecy. Okay, to bridge that gap, because we sinned, we went off. He came back and became that mediator for us to get us back to the Father, but we had to believe in him. So he laid his life down, okay, for us, so we can be cleansed. And it was only for the Israelites. All right. So what happened was, during the time of the Acts of the Apostles, they were waking up Israelites that solely believed in Yahushua. Okay, and this is why he went in. They went in. He said that those writings was for the Israelites that was scattered. Let's listen to that one more time.
Christianity, we'd have an epistle of Paul to the Ethiopians, an epistle of Paul to the Egyptians, an epistle of Paul to the Hutus and the Tutsis. We don't have that. There's no epistle of Paul to the Arabs.
Right.
There's no epistle of Paul to the Babylonians.
Exactly.
There's no epistle of Paul to the Edomites.
You're right.
Paul could have very easily perverted Christianity.
Right, man. Well, not about Paul perverting Christianity, because the Lord chose him. He was a chosen vessel. So they just, they just say other shit. But all those letters was to Jake, man. And that's what James told you. That James said. James told you in his opening epistle. James 1:1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Mashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. See, he was writing, and these letters were getting sent out. Okay, they were getting sent out, and it was being read and giving them the understanding of what they needed to know for that church. To the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greeting, man, because we were scattered through prophecy, because we sinned, we went off. Okay, and the Lord scattered us. Now let's get into that Deuteronomy 30, because it's going to break it down. And it says the restoration promised. And then didn't they ask, is this now the time to restore the kingdom to Israel? Because we've been oppressed, we've been raped, robbed, and murdered. Back then, we were under heavy taxation during the Roman Empire. Jake was trying to fight against the Romans, which is the Edomites, trying to fight against them. So we had to wait on Yahushua, and this was what the disciples, then came apostles, began to understand. Okay, now is it the time for the kingdom of Israel to be restored. And he's going to bring out the spill, and we have it all the way over here on the uttermost part of the earth. But let's go. Deuteronomy 30:1, it says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse. All right, Deuteronomy 28. Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord Yahweh thy power hath driven thee. See, we were driven away. And shall return unto the Lord thy power. See, when you go into the scriptures and they say, whenever it's speaking about someone returning, it's always the Israelites returning back to the Father, turning back to the Most High. Turning back to the law, statutes, commandments. It don't say nothing about the Edomites returning to the Lord. It don't say nothing about the Ishmaelites or the Hamites, the Jebusites, the Amalekites. Okay, Ammon or Moab. It don't speak about them returning. It always goes to Israel. And thou shalt return unto the Lord Yahweh thy power, and thou shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. Thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then the Lord Yahweh thy power will return thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all nations, whither the Lord Yahweh thy power have scattered thee. This is only talking about the Israelites, because we were scattered, were we not? When we were we was taken out of Samaria, okay, and then we were taken out of Jerusalem, the diaspora. We went into all various different lands and things like that. Speed up till today, we're scattered all over the four corners of the earth. Everybody talking about bringing again a captivity. Then then the Lord Yahweh thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and I will return and gather thee from all nations, whether the Lord thy power have scattered thee. Okay? Isaiah 14. For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Israel. The strangers is talking about the scattered Israelites. You see? Let's get one more. Jeremiah 30. This is, and I'm gonna go back to the Isaiah 14. It says, Jeremiah 30 and 1. For the word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord Yahweh, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord Yahweh, thus speaketh the Lord Yahweh, thy power of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. And we have these records today. Okay. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord Yahweh, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. Okay? See that? The old and the new. You have this spoken of in the New Testament and in the Old Testament. And it's only talking about Israel. How we were scattered and in captivity, and then the Lord was going to return us. Only Jake, man. Okay, and I'm gonna get some out the New Testament too. We're gonna go into Paul's writings, but it says, verse. Where did I leave off at? Four. Deuteronomy 30 and 4. It says that. Deuteronomy 30 and 4. If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord Yahweh thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. Okay? And ultimately where we're at now, how we're going to be gathered and fetched by the chariots, man. The chariots of Israel. Okay, when this destruction happens, only the Israelites are going to be delivered. Okay, only the Israelites are going to be delivered. You see? Let me get that. Revelation 7. Okay. Yes, let's see. Let's see if that's true. This is Revelation 7 and 1. It says, And after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And this wind is that hot wind, that destructible wind. Okay? Isaiah, I believe 32 says on how a man is going to be a hiding place from the wind. And it's talking about when this place is to be destroyed, man, by the thermonuclear missiles. Okay, during the time that we're approaching, which is World War III. It says, And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and not the sea. Okay, so don't destroy this place just yet. Okay, and that's how you know, hey, it's a specific. It's going to be the angels. Okay, and the angels is going to be controlling the missiles. Okay, so that's heavy. It says, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of the Most High in their foreheads. See? So the servants have to be sealed, okay? Meaning exempt from judgment, right? Now we're going to go into it, the 144,000, the 144, that special number, and it's going to go into the 12,000 out of each tribe, okay? But my point is I want to get to this. This is what I want to get to, Revelation 7 and 9, okay? Now, we already know, you can read it yourself, you know, as you can see, of the tribe of Zebulun was still 12,000, the tribe of Joseph was still 12,000, the tribe of Benjamin, so on and so forth, okay? So these are the ones that was delivered. Now it's going to get you another set of people, which is the multitude. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindred and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our power, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. This is not a universal salvation. This is talking about the Israelites that was scattered on the four corners of the earth. See, if any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost part of heaven, from thence will the Lord Yahweh thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. You see that? And this is where we're coming to that point. All right. Even Isaiah, I believe Isaiah 11 told you that there was Israelites that were scattered abroad. Right? Let's see. This is Isaiah 11:11. The restored remnant. Let's see who the restored remnant. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. Who's his people? It told you that the Lord's lot. It says that the Lord's Israel is the lot of his inheritance. That's his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversary of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. This is the restoration. This is the tabernacle of David, okay, coming back together again. Ephraim and Judah, because it was split. And where we at right now, we're all coming back together. The remnant, whether you are over from you in Babylon, which is America, you got brothers over there in Italy, you got brothers over there in Spain, you got brothers over there in Canada, you got a lot of brothers that do not look like all black on black Israelites, man. They're scattered amongst all nations, and they all look different. You see? Even you got some Israelites over there who look like Elam. You got some Israelites that look like Cush. Okay, so going back to the video concerning Paul's writings, those were to the scattered Israelites who didn't know that they was Israelites. Okay, it wasn't to nobody else. Let's listen to this a little bit more. I got a few more precepts. Really, I ain't really went off of my precepts. Just been really going through the spirit. But I am going to read supersessionism.
Pastors are just idiots for not seeing that.
And of course, in other books, Paul's
and y'all people are idiots, man, because the scriptures clearly tells you that salvation is for the Israelites. Okay, it clearly tells you, you know, in fact, we'll go ahead and get that real quick. Look at that. Israel is not cast away. Romans 11:1. I say then, have the Most High cast away his people? The Most High forbid. For I am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. You see? And one thing that these churches and these Christians try to do They try to seek salvation through Abraham. But Abraham's son who was chosen was Isaac. And it tells you that the promises landed upon Isaac. Okay? So what Paul is doing is he's writing these letters to let the Israelites know that no, he didn't, you was never casted away. Okay? You're not casted away. Though it's gonna say it, the Most High has not cast away his people, which he foreknew. You see? Woe ye not what the scripture saith of Elias, how he maketh intercession to the Most High against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed the prophets and digged down the altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the Most High? What saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. And we have Israelites that scattered around who's not worshiping these other doctrines, these other philosophies and things, man. You got a set group of men who is always going to believe in this truth, and that's that remnant. Even so, then at this present time, also there's a remnant according to the election of grace. See, that election of grace was bestowed upon the Israelites for Yahushua sacrificing himself, for him being sacrificed. Okay. Even so, at this present time, also there's a remnant according to the election of grace. Okay, so Paul was going in on telling them, hey, look, yeah, you sinned, you went off, but guess what? The Lord ain't done away with you. You still a part of that chosen. Okay, Romans 9. All right, let's get this real quick.
He says that the Edomites are vessels fit for destruction.
Of destruction, right?
It does not include them
The
among
Edomites is fit for destruction, man. Okay, even they know it. Who are the Edomites? Huh? Who are the Edomites? Let's who are the Edomites, man? Who are the Edomites? Let's get this book, right? Some information in here. Esau, forefather of the Roman Empire and the Europeans. You get right to it, baby. Ain't hold no punches. All right, this is from it says faith in Yahweh. Okay. But we know what they mean. And this comes out of the classical biblical baby names, man. Okay, it's actually a book. Okay, when they got the different names of all the the characters and the name, their meanings. They go off on some, but when it comes to this Edomite section, they're on fucking point. So I said, who are the Edomites? Let's go on to the Edomites. It says the family of Esau. Edom is identified with Rome and Germany and other places in Europe. Boom. The Edomites are the fucking Romans. The Romans are the so-called white man today, the Caucasians. See, Rome was ruled by Caesars, who are referred to in denigration in the Talmud because they were homosexual or bisexual and because they were not hereditary. Okay, which they didn't have a when you're a king, who gets on the throne next is your son. Okay, or so on and so forth. And that tradition is still passed right now today. Okay, Yahushai. Okay, and we are the son. See, Yahushai is the only begotten. Okay, but we are still the sons of the power. Okay, so it said that the Lord's lot concerning the inheritance in Deuteronomy 32. Okay, how Israel is the lot of the Lord's inheritance, man. Then you jump to joint heirs. See, we are joint heirs, man. Yeah, Romans. This is all through the Spirit, man. Romans 8 and 16, the Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. We are the children of the Most High. And it's talking to the Israelites. Okay? And if children, then heirs. See? Heirs of the Most High and joint heirs with Hamashiach Yahushua. You think Yahushua is going to be joint heirs with another fucking another nation, man? Specifically the Edomite nation. No. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Right, and that's salvation, man. Okay, that glory that the Israelites are going to receive, the beginning with the election. Come on, man, you can't beat that. And this is why Esau is bringing in supersessionism and replacement theology and all these different philosophies, man, of universal salvation. There's no such thing as universal fucking salvation. Okay? Paul was breaking that shit down, man. And you Edomites is going to be destroyed on this side. Then you niggas is going into slavery, man. And that's how the cookie crumbles. Okay? And let me, it says, whereas in the Bible, Esau is not more than the ancestor and founder of the small kingdom of Edom, Idumea, by the rabbinic period, he is identified as the ancestor of Romans, or as the founder of the city. Rome is thus referred to as kingdom of Esau, son of Esau, Esau, kingdom of Esau, and Edom. The Romans themselves are said to identify with Esau. Okay, and that's it, and that's how it go. So we know that you guys are Edomites, man, and we know salvation ain't for you. Okay.
The Israelites.
And he doesn't include any nation that's non-Israelite.
Right.
Every one of those people Paul wrote an epistle to were dispersed Israelites.
Right. He excludes the descendants of Ishmael, which is your today's Arabs, right?
Absolutely.
See, he excludes the Ishmaelites, which is the Arabs. They know that. They know who the Arabs are. He say he excludes them. All right. I believe that's in Romans 9, where I'm gonna get to. Yep, boom, it is right here. Yep. Okay, let's finish listening.
So it's them explicit. Paul is got.
In the New Testament, Paul says in Romans 11, all Israel will be saved. That is the purpose and plan of God. There is a Christian kind of popular doctrine that I reject with all my heart, and that is that the church has replaced Israel in the promises of God. It's called supersessionism. I don't believe in that. I think that
this is supersessionism is what a vocab Agent Reiser came in on. You know, replacement theology. See, what we believe, you know.
I hate to say this, but
what the
think
fuck you believe?
It is a latent form of anti-Semitism to say that. You can't tell me that God made promises in the Old Testament to his people Israel.
And it ain't anti-Semitism, man. You know, because it's a lot of it's some other nations that come up out of Shem. Esau comes up out of Shem. Okay, so it ain't fucking anti-Semitism. All right, it's fucking lies. That's all it is. All right, Israel comes out of Shem. Esau comes out of fucking Shem. Not fucking Shem, but you know what I'm saying. And he's probably a so-called Jew himself, so he doesn't like the fact of that. Which 85-90% of all these deep scholars, those are just Amalek.
His future kingdom and salvation, and that he would give them a new heart and a new spirit, and he would write his laws in their heart, and they would be saved, and he would be there.
See that? Hey, don't we bring that out with vocab no class? What is that? Jeremiah 30, I believe. Was it 31? Look at deliverance from captivity promised. I think it's 30, 31. Restoration in Jacob. I think it's 31 though. That's a good one. That's a good Jeremiah 30 is pretty good to go into. I just want to get to the point. Here we go. This is Jeremiah 31:31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break. Okay, we broke the laws. Go back to Deuteronomy 30. Although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord Yahweh. But this, verse 33, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. Now, this same breakdown is in the book of Hebrews, which is in the New Testament. So it was being reestablished, reiterated. Okay. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, no other house. And this is this stupid ass supersessionism shit where they try to replace, Yeah, I'm gonna read that after I finish this up. Pardon me, Salakia. But yeah, 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. See? It's talking about the Israelites, man. And then you go into Hebrews, and he's saying the same thing. I believe it's Hebrews 8. Wait, is it Hebrews 8, man? Let's check it out. It's in Hebrews 84. Here we go. Yep. Going into the new covenant. It's saying the same thing. 8 and 7 Hebrews. For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them because we broke the laws, he said, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant and regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws in their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. So when the new covenant is fully established, okay, that with the Israelites, a covenant was established by the blood. Okay, what Yahweh had sacrificed himself. He was sacrificed. He was put on the cross through prophecy by his father. Okay, and that blood spilled, and that was to bring the Israelites back to the Father. So when we get back to the Father, now we're going to be up under a new covenant, so we won't go off anymore. The purpose of this is because we went off. But when the kingdom comes, everything is going to be placed back into order. You see? And the scripture says, I will overturn until whose right it is. Until Jake gets back on top like it was already meant to be. That's why they asked him. That's why they asked him in Acts 1. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? What the fuck are you guys talking about? You know? And they shall teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. We're going to be perfect. And this is what we're coming to. This is what Esau is afraid of. This is why he bring out bullshit like supersessionism. Replacement theology. Supersessionism, also called replacement theology, is a view in Christian theology on the current status of the Christian church, which asserts that the new covenant through Yahushua has superseded or replaced the Mosaic covenant. Bullshit. You just read it. That is not what it's talking about. The covenant made exclusively with the Jewish people, or the Israelites. All right. See, that's another thing, you simple ass Edomites, man. You keep on speaking about the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. There's only one tribe. This is dealing with the whole Israelites, man. The supersessionist viewpoint also holds that the universal Christian church has succeeded the nation of Israel as the true Israel of power, true Israel of God, and the Christians have succeeded the ancient Israelites as the definitive people of God. How? No, this is some bullshit that you devils just came up with. Okay? So, because you see, Esau still wants the promises. Esau still to this day wants to be accepted. But what did the Lord tell Cain? If thou doest well, okay? He to have an ear, let him hear. Cain is Esau. Esau is the so-called white man. That sword. Okay? And they try to use Paul. Okay, I ain't gonna finish reading it. All right. It's just they're saying that since we fail or went off, that opens the door for universal salvation. That's not what it's talking about, man. Not at all. All right. Did he finish up?
Their king, and they would be his people, and all those kingdom prophecies. You can't possibly tell me that God didn't mean what he said.
See that? You can't possibly tell me that God didn't mean what he said. Okay? It's just that simple, man. Let me see what I got on my list, man. Yeah, I wanted to go a little bit more into this. Let me see how much time I got. I don't want to make this too long. We have 47 minutes. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna close out and I'm gonna come back with a part 2, Lord willing, through the Spirit. I'm gonna have to do it on my lunch break. Yeah, I'll do it on my lunch break, Lord willing. So that's this. I guess this will just be a part 1, and Lord willing, I'll have do a part 2. So with that, I'd like to give all glory and honor and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Hakudash Brakathum. All right, double honor to my apostles, a great millstone. Salutations to the Aqua on the 4 corners, pushing his truth, his sincerity, love, diligence, respect, fear, and trembling. Abba Ball, Shalom.
Christianity, we'd have an epistle of Paul to the Ethiopians, an epistle of Paul to the Egyptians, an epistle of Paul to the Hutus and the Tutsis. We don't have that. There's no epistle of Paul to the Arabs. There's no epistle of Paul to the Babylonians.
Exactly.
There's no epistle of Paul to the Edomites.
You're right.
Paul could have very easily perverted Christianity.
Right. And
The Paul bashers are just idiots for not seeing that.
And of course, in other books, Paul definitely says that the Edomites are vessels fit for destruction.
Of destruction, right.
He does not include them among the Israelites.
And he doesn't include any nation that's non-Israelite.
Right.
Every one of those people Paul wrote an epistle to